Take a moment to ground your feet. And even though we're coming to stand, it doesn't have to be, overwhelming or taking a lot of effort. In fact, I encourage you to find a lot of ease as you come into Tadasana. Maybe just spread the toes a little wide and rock from heels to toes a few times. Bring attention to your breath and start to establish that cleansing breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Feel your feet settling, grounding. And bring your hands up to your collarbones, finding K27 right beneath the collarbones in the little hollows. And begin by just massaging here. Just give it a little rub. And take another cleansing breath. And just see how this massage feels this morning. Maybe you want to stick with the massage, or if you'd like, you could begin to find a rhythm tapping on K27, the on button for your body's energy. Just allowing the body to breathe. Try not to think about, perfecting anything here, and try not to really need to think at all. Just letting yourself begin to flow with the energy. And if you are tapping strongly, see if you can find sort of a gentle rhythm in that tapping. And we'll drop the tap down to the center of the sternum or the thymus thumb and get our immunity working for us this morning. As you tap here, maybe see if your posture can lift up just a little bit, just feeling some expansiveness start to come into the spine and into the legs. And we'll go to the side seam of the body, about in line with the bra strap for the spleen points. Deep breath. You could either use fingers, or sometimes it's nice to use the outsides of the fist. Sort of gives the chest an opening as you draw the elbows back. Nice deep breath. Make this next one full and complete. Inhale, nose. Blow it all the way out. And shake out the arms and the hands. We'll do a little lighter tap here on the cheekbones or the stomach points. And allowing this tap to ground you into the feet, into the earth. And cleansing breath. Notice if you even get in a habit with how you take this cleansing breath. If you're blowing it out like a candle, or maybe just letting it sigh out. And just consider letting that breath come out in a slightly different way, just to see what feels best this morning, and not to move solely out of habit. Let the hands come down to the thighs and take a moment to ground and quiet the breath. And feel yourself aligning head over heart, hips over heels, turning your attention inward. Begin to deepen the breath again, in through the nose and out through the mouth as you march in place. Pause, shake off the hands, the arms, and we'll cross it over opposite hand to knee. Coordinating and organizing the body's energy. And while these might start a little small, see if you can begin to expand. And this might slow down your circles. And actually might feel nice to slow down the movement, but become a little more expressive or expansive in the way you rotate the arms, maybe the way the legs pull up into the chest. And Just letting the hand bounce off of the knee or thigh. I'll do a few more breaths, starting to feel the muscles of the legs and arms start to wake up. And then start to make it a little smaller again. Last breath. Hey, ground the feet, rest the hands in front of the pubic bone. Take a moment to let the energy of the legs really ground you here, move into the earth. And take this next part of the practice to set an intention. So you can just allow a word or phrase to bubble up. Let yourself get soft enough, quiet enough to hear this word or phrase arise. I always say if nothing seems to come to mind, that gratitude is an excellent place to settle for an intention today. We'll seal that in 3 times with the breath, with the zip up. Inhale and draw that energy straight up the middle. Exhale and press your intention out into your field. Like you're spreading it out all around you. Inhale and zip it up. Exhale, press it out. One more time with your breath. Feel that you're drawing that right at the core of the body. Exhale, press it all out around you. Middle finger to belly button, middle finger to the third eye. Press in and draw up. Inhale. And exhale, soften. 2 more times with the breath. Inhale, draw up. Exhale, release. One more breath. Finding Tadasana. Quiet the breath. You can close the eyes, tuning inwards, and just notice how you feel. Take in the experience of your practice bit by bit. Noticing how just these simple movements and breath might start to shift the way you feel in subtle or not so subtle ways. Begin to circle the wrists while they're down by your hips. You can open your eyes if you'd like, but if it's comfortable, maybe you just keep the eyes a little soft or closed throughout your practice. Switch the direction of your circles if you haven't already. And then inhale and release those hands from fists. Bring them all the way up to the sky. Exhale, Celtic weave just down the front of the body. Inhale, arms come overhead and twist to the left. Exhale, Celtic weave on this left side. Inhale, arms come through center, twist to the right, Celtic weave, and try to sense the density of the air, right? The density of your aura and the space around you. Using the hands and this movement to thread it together. You're stitching together this strong boundary. Inhale, come through center and take a Celtic weave all the way down into a forward fold. Bend the knees generously, and when you get to your fold, let the head hang and the hands rest on the earth or fingertips on the earth. And start to tune in to your yogic breathing in and out through the nose. Rest the elbows on the thighs, right above the knees, and bring your hands to your eyebrows and begin to massage along the eyebrows, finding that bone that holds the eyes, right? This occipital lobe. I don't know if I said that right, but here we are. And then massaging all around the eyes, so moving to the corners and underneath. And really take your time and just see if there's any tender spots here around the eyes. Listening in for your Ujjayi breath, your yogic breath. And giving a little love to any points that are tender and helping move any of that stuck energy here. And then let your hands come to the earth, bend the knees. And we're going to roll all the way down to the back. So you can use your hands if you'd like, or maybe start to trust yourself and just roll down all the way to the spine and hug your knees in towards your chest. Feel your spine elongate naturally as you find the support of the earth. Pause in the stillness and connect to a few breaths here on your back. Let it be easy. Notice if you start to, pressure the body, you start to hug really tightly, and if you can just loosen the grip a little bit. Like just move the feet and ankles around a little bit. Just see that there's a lightness or a playfulness in the body. Then let the feet come down to the earth and step them as wide as your mat, arms coming into a cactus shape. And let the knees windshield wiper slowly side to side. So gentle twist, go to your extent. Rolling over the hips, getting a gentle twist in the belly and even through the front of the thighs. And pause in the middle, realign your spine if you need to, and hold on to the back sides of the thighs. We're going to find a rock and roll along the length of the spine. Take a few rock and rolls, and from here we're going to come up into a squat. So space your feet a little wider and see if you can get enough momentum to come all the way into your malasana. And then once you've arrived there, ground your heels. You can use a blanket under the heels if they're not quite touching the earth. And bring your hands into prayer, elbows coming to the thighs or knees. Then feel the torso lifting up. Find length from the base of your tailbone to the base of your head, and then continuing out through the crown. We'll pause here, lifting up from the inner arches of the feet. Just allowing yourself to breathe and massage the organs with that breath. Try to identify here, where is your center? Where does the breath find the deepest parts of the belly? Where is that breath coming into as you inhale? Identify that place of center here. And release your hands to the mat and lift up the hips, coming into a slightly wider forward fold. So maybe the legs can straighten just a little bit, but you can play with the bend of the knees. Take your index finger and clear the gates of the feet. So massaging along the long bones of the feet and going off the feet in between each toe, right at that webbing. I like to kind of just wiggle that index finger along the bones until it gets in between each toe. And again, noticing if there's any tender areas here on the feet, giving them a little extra attention, and just knowing that this self-massage technique and working the energy out this way just helps clear any stagnant stuff there. You can massage each toe as well, pinching off at the very tip. If you need to, take that cleansing breath, let something go. And then let the head hang and do the same thing with the hands. You can rest the elbows on the knees again if it's more comfortable to do that. Massaging in between the thumb and index finger and all the long bones of the hand. Massaging each finger and pinching off at the tip of each finger. Nice deep yogic breath. Take your time completing this on both hands. We do a lot of computer work, and really, even if we don't, we use our phones so much. Our hands really can use this little detox, if you will. And stimulating the energy at the very tip of each finger, just like the toes where the meridians are starting and ending. And then when you've completed that, heel toe your feet a little closer together. Bend your knees, coming into a chair pose, and bring your thumbs to the start of the eyebrows, palms together in like an Anjali Mudra. Then use your thumbs to lift up your head, coming into chair pose. Take a couple of breaths here, tuning into the strength of the core of your center. But we're balancing that effort with ease. Then use this grip of the hands, this placement of the thumbs, to lift the head all the way up. Standing, press into the eyebrows until you press all the way out to the temples. Fingers coming to the middle of the forehead. Press in, pull apart at the third eye. And just shake off the hands. Find your Tadasana and take a moment to pause and find the breath in this pose. To appreciate the simplicity of our yoga practice, of our postures. And we know we're all feeling this transition of seasons and maybe feeling that we get thrown around by the wind or rain, even a mix of snow this time of year. And so in your mountain pose, can you really anchor into that idea of staying grounded into the legs, of feeling the sturdiness and a beautiful foundation through the lower body that connects you to the earth? And balancing that with an upward energy coming up into the torso where maybe there's a little more movement and freedom through the limbs. Inhale, feel that energy rising from the feet up the front of the body to the head. And exhale down the back of the body, softening shoulder blades, grounding into the heels. Loop that energy around for 2 more breaths. Inhale, drawing up from the earth, up the front body. And exhale down the back body. 1 more breath, full and complete. Inhale, arms come overhead. Hold on to your left wrist and find a side bend. You don't have to go any certain distance. Just go to the point that you can hold the pose and keep your feet anchored. And take 2 more breaths into the rib cage and making space in between each of the ribs. Inhale to come through center and grab the other wrist. Exhale, give yourself a little tug and side bend the other way, making sure that that right foot stays anchored just like it was in Tadasana. Inhale, come up through center, keeping the arms overhead, yin-yang meridian clear. So we're going to trace down the back side of the arms. Let's do right hand on top first. Tracing along the back sides of the arms, down the shoulder blades on the back. Unhook the elbows and trace across the belly to the waist and down the outsides of the legs and off the pinky toe. Tracing up spleen, hands to big toes. Inhale, drawing energy up the inseam of the legs, flaring out at the hips, up to the shoulders, and down to the side body. Massage in here, and take a deep breath. Other side, inhale, arms overhead. Left arm comes on top of the right. Slide down the back sides of the arms, down the shoulder blades, across the belly into the waist, and down the outsides of the legs, coming off the pinky toes. Inhale, tracing up spleen. And nice big exhale as you come down to the side body. Bring the hands behind the back, right behind the belly button, one stacked on top of the other, and begin to massage the Ming Man point. Right behind the belly button. And feel that you're taking really good care here, right? This is not like a deep stretch that we might find in some yoga poses. This is working with your energy. So be gentle and just feel that you're gently stirring up this vitality behind the low back. And then pause the movement. Dip your hands down towards the sacrum and come up and over the hips to your hip flexors. Inhale and draw the hands straight up the body, over the throat and around the mouth for 3 audible exhales. Let it go. One more time. Slide the hands down the throat and land over the heart. Take a quiet moment, option to close the eyes and tune inwards, reminding yourself of your intention. And it's worth the reminder of why we come to our yoga practice and why it's so important to tend to our energy. Yoga is about bringing together the body, the mind, the spirit. Being able to just be with ourselves. So when we find these pauses, take that moment to really ensure that you are just being here with your body, that you don't need to force it into anything, and that doing less is really doing more here when you're finding this deep connection and tuning into that rhythm of your heart. Bring your hands into Anjali Mudra and sit into a little squat. You can space your feet a little wider for connecting heaven and earth. Inhale. Exhale, sit your hips down. Inhale, left arm up, right hand presses down. Exhale, come through center. Inhale, other way. Exhale, come through center. Inhale, left arm up, really stretch that side body, press through the heels of the hands. Every exhale through center. Just do that a couple more times, like a big morning stretch. Notice where your gaze goes. If you're normally looking up, maybe try to look down towards the hand connecting to the earth. And just notice how that feels, making sure you're balancing that connection above and below. We'll balance out both sides. And when you take your last stretch here, whatever hand's on top, I think it's the right one here, we're going to dive it all the way down and come into a forward fold, letting the fingers drag across the mat as you release the head and find a deep breath. Pause the movement, expelling the venom. This is for that season of spring, so helping to release any anger. Or, if you don't feel like a lot of anger here right now, great, that's good for you. But it doesn't have to just be about, just releasing the anger or balancing that. If we're already feeling quite balanced here, then we can just reinforce the assertive action that this season asks us to take. We can reinforce that strength in our legs, especially, and help us take that next step forward. So imagine that you're weeding your garden on your yoga mat. This is the season to start pruning the seeds that start to burst through the ground. Or weeding anything away that doesn't need to be here. And then as you inhale, sweep the hands out wide and overhead. You're going to exhale with an SH sound and throw it down. Again, inhale, rip up those weeds, bring them up and overhead. And exhale, SH, throw it down. Again, inhale, reach up and overhead. Throw it down. And we'll do that one more time slowly. We're going to stay standing this time. Inhale, arms overhead, and then just press it down with your SH sound. Wrap your right arm around the rib cage. You're holding onto that spleen point, and the other hand wrapping around the outside of the elbow. We've been doing these poses the last couple of weeks, threading together tree to warrior one to warrior three. And we've been doing them actually separately. Today, we're going to weave them together. So finding your balance in the left foot, lift your right thigh. And feel the roots of that left foot, the tree trunk growing into the earth as you open the knee. And try to find the placement of the foot on the thigh. If you need to use the hand to place it there, go for it. And then come back to this triple warmer spleen hug. And even though we're giving ourselves a hug here, see if you can find some broadness across the chest and let the shoulder blades integrate on the back. Giving yourself this hug through these next few positions will be helpful for balancing the energy between spleen and triple warmer and having a calming, maybe regulating effect on the nervous system. Something I really like to tune into here is the warmth that comes up underneath the arms. All right, we'll move from here into our warrior one. So bringing the thigh towards the sky again and step it all the way back, rounding that back heel. Bend into your front knee and feel that the head, heart, and hips are in alignment. Notice the breath expanding under the arms. And then lean forward, come onto your back toes, placing more of the weight into your left foot again as you come into warrior three. And really tilt forward. Dip the head forward and down, lifting that back heel. With this hug of the arms, it encourages the lower ribs to stay hugging in towards center. Notice any sensations. Then your head and your heel are connected, one straight line as you come all the way up. Hinge from the hip, both feet come together, and release the arms. Take a breath in Tadasana. Let's switch sides. Left arm coming on around the waist and on that spleen point on the ribs. Right hand comes over top, hooking around the outside of the elbow. Get nice and snug here and open your chest and collarbones. Direct your weight into the right foot, lift the left thigh. Open up the knee, find your tree pose. Directing your gaze at a fixed point. Tailbone drawing down, sending energy into that right heel and helping to ground you here. Observing that dichotomy of tree pose, staying grounded into the feet, but also finding the lightness and the lift coming up through the crown of the head. Bring the knee forward, balance on the right foot, thighs lifted. Step the left foot back, warrior one. Toes meet the mat and then ground that back heel, bend into your front knee. Use the position of the arms to rotate the chest forward. If you need that reminder again, open up across the chest. Feel your shoulder blades drawing together on the back. And again, giving that hug of the lower ribs, it can help give some space into the front of the chest here. So try not to let this hug curl you in. Actually find that broadness while you hug. Then lean forward, come onto your back toes, all the weight going into the right foot for warrior three. Move into it at your own pace. Try to keep the chest open. Press out through your back heel and lengthen through the crown of your head. The back of the neck is long. Bring both feet together. Tadasana, release the arms, and take a smooth breath here. Sit down into baby chair pose. Reach your arms overhead. Step the right foot over top of the left. Find your eagle pose. Left arm coming underneath the right, either holding onto shoulders or find the bind of the hands. Lift your elbows to the height of the shoulders. Sit into your seat and feel the squeeze of the arms and legs. Take your next 3 breaths on your own, smoothly in through the nose and out through the nose. Simply observe that flow of breath or prana through this posture. We're going to take up a lot of space as we release from this posture. So as you take your next exhale, send everything out like a falling star. Balance on that foot. And then bring the legs back to center. Thumbs come to the start of the eyebrows. Press in and drag the fingers across to the temples. Middle fingers to the forehead. Press in and pull apart. And shake it off. Come into your Tadasana. Inhale, hips back, arms overhead, chair pose. Feel the spine lengthening. Left foot steps over right, left arm under right. Eagle pose. Lift the elbows, let the shoulders drop. And tune in to the flow of your breath. Try not to force the breath to come or to go, but observe yourself allowing it to come and go. Feel as if you're surrendering to that flow of a river, right? Letting it start to carry you. And through intention and moving through these postures, we allow ourselves to work with that flow of the river, the flow of our energy, to direct ourselves down this pathway, down this winding river. To release, we'll take up all our space. So as you take your next exhale, send everything out to the side, falling star. And bring the feet back together, thumbs to the eyebrows, press in and drag them across to the temples. Middle finger or fingers to the middle of the forehead, press in and pull apart. And shake it off. We're going to do that expelling the venom one more time here. So let's just start from standing. You can bring your hands into fists. And if there is anger, you can feel that anger here, making those fists. And then inhale, sweep the arms out and overhead. And on the exhale, throw it down to the earth. Bend your knees as you fold. Inhale, sweep out and around. Exhale, breathe it out, throw it down. Inhale, sweep out and around. And throw it down. Keep it low this time, hands coming to the earth. Bend your knees into a squat. Try to stay low to the ground as you send your right foot back into a low lunge. You can drop that right knee and untuck the toe. And it's okay if your left knee is coming in front of your ankle, even okay if that heel is off the mat. We're going to really lean forward and let that right quad and hip flexor open here. Ground into the hands. Try to bring all the fingers to touch. Allow the body to breathe in this posture, softening the jaw. Now flatten the left heel onto the mat and start to shift backwards into a half splits. So you might need to step your right knee a little further back so that the hips stay over top of the knee. And this front leg does not have to be perfectly straight. Just straighten it to your extent, letting that left hip drop so it's in an alignment with the right. And find a nice long spine. So blocks might be helpful to achieve that long spine or coming onto fingertips. Then feel the back of the neck growing long, chin gently tucking as you fold down towards the shin. And allowing that wave-like breath to flow through the spine and the back of the leg, anchoring into the front heel. Ask yourself what it means to anchor into that front heel. Imagine that truly being like an anchor, digging into the earth so it's firmly planted here. You're even pressing that left heel down gently. Now walk the hands towards the right side of your mat, grounding the left foot. The right foot pivots off the mat. So we're coming into a gate pose. You can extend that left leg out. Toes are pointed towards the long edge of your mat. Bring the right hand towards the back edge of your mat. So now we're coming into a side plank. Press into the right hand, left arm lifts up. Exhale, left hand comes down by your hip. Let it align with your torso. And then next, inhale, circle the left arm around, bicep comes over the ear as you stretch everything out from edge of the foot to the edge of the fingertips. Connect to your center, connect to your core as you exhale and bring the left hand down. And we're going to walk all the way around to the front of the mat. So coming into that low lunge facing the front. Tuck your back toe, lift the knee, and hop that right foot to meet its partner at the front of your mat, pausing in a squat. Take a breath in and out. Plant the palms, all the fingers touching. Staying as low as you can to the mat, shoot your left foot back and come into your low lunge on the other side. Blocks might be helpful, otherwise try to ground your palms. You can let the right heel lift off the mat and lean into that front knee. Letting the grip of your mat help stretch that left leg. And then shifting backwards, ground your right foot. Walk the hands, half splits. Hips over top of the knee. Toes pointed up, anchor into the right heel, gently pressing it into the mat. And find the length of your spine, lifting from the low belly. And slowly, slowly coming into your fold. Letting the forehead become magnetized towards the shin. One more breath. Walk your hands to the left side of the mat. Pivot your foot, your left heel off the mat and find that gate pose, extending your right leg down. Walk the left hand to the back edge of your mat, side plank. Press into the left hand. Inhale, right arm scoops up towards the sky. Exhale, bring the right hand to meet the right hip, aligning it with your torso. Inhale, sweep the right arm overhead, finding this full length through the side body, pressing into the bottom hand, and letting that left bicep rotate outwards, right? So you want to make sure that left shoulder isn't curling in. Keep that chest nice and open. Notice where your body can really use this big breath and stretch and let that space come in here. Connect to your core, to your belly. So the hips will move a little bit as you bring the right hand down to the mat, walk around to the front of your mat, low lunge. Tuck the left toes and step your right foot back this time. So finding your plank pose. We're just going to be here for 3 breaths. Try to bring all those fingers to touch and connect to the strength in the thighs, in your center, through the belly. One more breath. Lower the knees to the mat. Inhale, lower belly, gaze forward, cow. Exhale, round the spine, cat. Inhale, hammock the belly, chest open, cow. Exhale, tuck chin and tailbone, cat. One more time, inhale. Exhale. Sit the hips back to the heels, knees wide, big toes together, child's pose. Let's take a few grounding breaths. Turning inwards, reminding yourself of your intention or your mantra today. Become aware of the attitude in which you practice. That's why our intention setting or letting a mantra guide us is so important, because this attitude that we embody when we practice is what will set the tone for the rest of our day. But you're always in a place to make a change, to make a shift if you need to. So if you need to switch your mantra or create a new one here, a new intention, just consider the attitude in which you want to move through the rest of this practice and what you'd like to bring into this Thursday. On your next inhale, come forward onto your forearm, so a mini puppy pose. We're going to rest on the elbows, bring the hands together in Anjali Mudra, and rest the thumbs at the start of the eyebrows, so that little indent at the inside of the eyes. We're just going to pause here in our puppy pose, letting the belly hammock and pressing into the bladder points. Really feel as you exhale that you're letting that breath just effortlessly make its way out, letting the low belly hammock and relax. Bring the hands to the mat. We're going to bring the forehead to the mat for a full puppy pose, extending the arms, pressing into the palms, lifting elbows. Then walk the elbows back towards you, lifting the head off the mat. Cross your ankles or swing the legs out to the side and come down to your seat. I'm going to do some really slow sit-ups here. You can wrap your hands around the waist. You can find that triple worm or spleen hug again if you'd like, or just hold on, crossing the arms. You can do this either with your knees bent or legs extended. And we'll find the slowest sit-ups that we ever do. So tucking the tailbone and feel each segment of the spine rolling down with control, and notice where you get to maybe a sticky point where you lose control. And if you find a point like that, just lift yourself right back up and work with that point that might feel a little weaker through this lowering or lifting process. And you could do this both from the ground up. So if you're coming up from the ground and you feel like you have to use momentum, you've identified a little weak link there. So you could lower right back down and just work with that weaker link. No reason to feel bad about a weak link. That's why we're here, to get to know ourselves and bring balance into this core strength and into the spine. Just take these on your own. The important thing is that you're moving with control and trying not to use any momentum to lower or lift. Let's just do 2 more cycles wherever you're at. Excellent. On this next one, we're going to bring it all the way down to the mat. Oh, hi, Luna. Had a little cat pillow as I lowered there. And then bend your knees and bend your knees and open up the knees into a reclined cobbler's pose. Bring the hands behind the head and make a little pillow interlacing the fingers with the thumbs resting at the base of the skull. You can give a massage here along the ridge, right where your head meets the neck. And maybe feel that you can bring a little more length into the body. So if you need to make any micro adjustments to bring space into the spine, feel free to do that. And then we're just going to pause here, letting the thumbs rest at the base of the skull. Broadness across the chest, the belly, and the hips. Let everything become as easy as possible. Just letting the body breathe in this spaciousness. Notice where your thumbs rest at the base of the skull. See if you can notice any sensation under the hands or the fingers, especially the thumbs. And observe yourself lying here. Observe the quality of your breath. Observe the attitude that might appear on the face. We might subconsciously be holding a certain attitude here. So bringing that into your conscious mind and maybe softening any furrows or scowling. And finding a balance of tuning your attention inwards while also being open and receptive to the space around you. Notice how the space that you're in makes you feel. We can be honest with ourselves. It doesn't always have to be great, right? Maybe there's something that you feel you need to change in this environment, whether that's the inner landscape or the outer landscape. Just notice how it makes your energy feel to observe inwards and outwards. And press into the base of the skull, giving yourself a little massage with the thumbs. And slide the hands out from under you, bringing them over down towards the legs and help lift the knees together. Walk the feet to the outside edges of your mat, letting your knees knock together, and you might be able to draw your tailbone down slightly. Resting your left hand on your heart and letting the right hand rest wherever it wants to make a connection. A common one we come to is belly and heart. That might feel nice this morning. Feel that movement of breath between the hands. But the right hand can go anywhere it feels like it's being called to, that would like to receive some of that magnetic heart energy, that strong heart energy. So you might connect your heart to your throat or to your third eye, or any one of the chakras, or a place of the body that feels like it could use some extra love. And trusting yourself to let the hands land. Then heel toe the feet together, drawing your right knee in towards the chest and give it a hug. Place the right foot down, hug the left knee in towards the chest, give it a hug. Place both feet down in the mat, arms come into a T. Bump your right hip to the center of the mat, draw your knees in towards the chest, and then roll to the right side into your twist. Extend the left leg out to the side and hold behind the knee. Pressing fingers right into the crease of the knee, and let your gaze either come overhead or over that left shoulder. Full and complete, smooth and quiet yogic breaths. Twists are really great for our morning practice. We energize the spine and to get our digestive system stimulated and moving. Ayurveda teaches us that strong digestion is the key to health. It's the key to feeling vibrant. Bend your left knee and roll yourself around to center. Realign your spine on the mat. Bump your left hip to the center. Draw the knees to the chest and let yourself roll to the left. Extend the right leg out to the side, holding behind the crease of the knee with your left fingers. And open up the gaze to the right side, opening that right arm and shoulder. Allow the earth to support you here. You don't need to hold anything up. And bend your right knee, bring yourself around to center. If you have a blanket and you want to cover yourself up, you can do that here as you prepare to come into Shavasana. Maybe giving yourself a little pillow under the head or under the knees. And before we release the arms entirely, we're going to do one more hold here to help calm the nervous system. And so we're going to rest our peace fingers and thumb right at the base of the throat. So you can feel that hollow at the base of the throat. We're going to just let those fingers rest here. And then the left hand is going to rest over the forehead. And so if you feel that your head needs to fall to the side, that's okay. You can do that so it's easier to hold the forehead. Or if you want to place a blanket under that left arm, it can give you a little support to hold your head up straight. Allow your body to take up its space in Shavasana, maybe taking a couple deep breaths here, cleansing breaths through the mouth. Letting something go. And eventually letting the body just settle here. Let the hands just resting on these points. Releasing all effort from your breath. Becoming quiet enough that you can feel or sense the pulse under the hands, under the fingers. Perhaps starting to notice the pulse, the pulsing, synchronize, harmonize. As you let your body settle into Shavasana, this ease allows all the cells to communicate in harmony, to allow your breath to run through the body effortlessly. traveling through the meridians, the chakras, through the veins and the muscles and all the cells that make up the body. Feel the space around you even harmonizing. If there was any discord or any sense of friction in your space, in your field, breathe a sense of peace and calm, both inwards and outwards. If it feels good to hold onto these points for longer, you could hold the hands here. If you'd like, you could release the hands anywhere on the body or alongside the body into a final Shavasana. Gentle awareness of the breath moving in and moving out. Surrendering in our final posture to allow the intelligence of the body and the body's energy to take over and to settle into these new patterns of peace, of calm, of organization and coordination. Begin to deepen your breath, sensing the movement in the belly. Really feel yourself receiving this fresh breath of air this Thursday morning. Begin to move the feet, toes, ankles, wrists, and eventually bending the knees. Roll over to your side and gently press up into your cross-legged seat. Let the hands rest on the thighs or in the lap and feel the air coming in evenly through both nostrils. Bring your palms together and let's give it a little rub. Generate some heat and energy between the palms. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, place the hands over the forehead, the eyes, and cheeks. Drag the hands across the eyes and rub the hands behind the ears 3 times. And then let the hands come down the neck and rest on top of the shoulders. Give yourself a little massage here, squeezing the chaps. Inhale. Exhale, land the hands over the heart. A gentle bow in the chin. Take a moment to find your gratitude at the end of your practice. Make sure to thank this body, thank this practice, and the time that you've spent with yourself and one another. And sending your gratitude in any other direction that you'd like, letting this gratitude help guide you through the rest of your day. Let's take a bow to seal it in. Inhale and bow. Exhale. Namaste, and thank you so much for joining me in this morning practice and tending to your own energy. Wish you a beautiful day. Good morning.